Hi, Ellie Chevalis here. Welcome to this introductory mini class on collections from Koheleth. We are going to be learning together the words of wisdom of King Solomon as he wrote in this book Koheleth. Koheleth means Ecclesiastes, which means a collection of wisdom. We're going to try to keep these, by the way, if you're not seeing a picture, that's not a mistake. These are just auditory classes. These are just for listening, but I put them as a video because I want to be able to upload them to video platforms. But there'll be a little bit of text underneath. What we're going to try to do is keep these classes really short, 5 minutes or less. We're going to do one verse a day. Today is the introductory class. I'm just going to explain a little bit about what this is. This is not a course in the book of Koheleth. What it is a mini class. The classes are short. They're relatively superficial, just kind of like going through the words and a little bit of a thought, a meditation, a takeaway from each of the verses. I'm going to be reading it in the original Hebrew, the biblical Hebrew, but everything will be translated. So if you don't speak Hebrew, that's fine. When you hear me say something in Hebrew, you're going to hear me explain it in English afterwards. So I used to give a college level course in a more in-depth commentary on this class. Maybe we'll kind of revisit that again at another point, but for right now it's really just an opportunity to go through the words themselves, because the words themselves have a lot of depth. I will be incorporating a little bit of interpretation because some of them are almost impossible to understand without some sort of a commentary style, but I want to keep it really simple and textual, and the reason for that is because I want to be able to get through it, and I think there's a tremendous amount to be gleaned even just from the words themselves, and like I said, just to do a little meditation on each verse. So today, by way of introduction, we're just going to explain King Solomon was called by some the wisest of men. He wrote a number of canonized biblical texts. Koheleth was one of his names. He's one of his nicknames. It means gathering of wisdom, a collection of wisdom. And he wrote this in 12 chapters. And I'm just going to go through each of the chapters just to give you a little bit of an idea of the themes of the chapters so that you get a sense of the flow of the book itself. In the first chapter, he talks about wisdom, the value of wisdom itself. In the second chapter, he talks about joy, the pursuit of happiness, and what he learned about that. In the third, he talks about time and how he relates to the value and the concept of time. In the fourth, he explores social morality. In the fifth, he talks about the power of speech and the power of faith. In the sixth, he discusses materialism. In the seventh, he talks about personal growth, personal development. In the eighth, he revisits the ideas from the first two chapters of wisdom and joy, the pursuits of wisdom and joy. In the ninth, he talks about God's providence, God's involvement in the day-to-day, the quotidian of our lives. In the 10th, he talks about foolishness. In the 11th, he talks about justice. And the 12th, the final chapter, he talks about end-of-life perspectives. If you think about the primary question, the overall book is him exploring the answer to the question, what is the point of life? And some people interpret that to be a statement, a rhetorical statement of futility, like what's the point anyway, existential angst. But another way to look at it is him asking sincerely, what is the point of life? Is it wisdom? Is it joy? Is it how we use our time? Is it faith? Is it personal growth? Is it a relationship to God? Justice? And he answers these questions with more questions, more depth. It's an exercise in philosophy, and I'm looking forward to going through it together. And I always appreciate and value your feedback. So please, if you have any thoughts or comments or questions on how we do these mini classes, these meditations, I'm always happy to hear from you.